What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer channel. Hope you guys are doing well today. Today I'm going to have a reaction video to this Navajo prophecy is happening now. I'm a big fan of hearing about prophecies and, Native American lore, any kind of lore from any race or background, any part of the world. You know what I mean? It's always awesome to hear lore from and teachings from different tribes and peoples in a whole. So this one is going to be from Navajo Traditional Teachings. It's a YouTube channel. I will put a link down below if you guys want to follow, like, and subscribe to any channels that these people are putting out, or individuals, because I see that they post multiple videos, which are very awesome. Sometimes I watch them off stream or off of recordings and stuff like that. But regardless, this one was posted 2 weeks ago. This is by our wonderful warrior producers. There is what some might call an old Navajo prophecy. It tells of a time when our dying will stop learning, when people won't see what is happening right in front of them, when ignorance dominates, when the language isn't spoken properly, when the men start cutting their hair. So I know growing up, Chippewa, Ojibwe, whatever you want to call them, that, they talk about that. And when the price of gas is going to cost more than water, that's when the signals of the end of the world is going to be. So I like to hear different people's prophecies and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's jump into this video and see how this goes.
That means a prophecy that in the future our people are going to begin to lack the responsibility of knowing, of learning, and applying it in their lives properly. The greatest danger, they tell us.
Okay, so before this video kicks off, I do want to throw on there, like, a lot of these teachings that I heard was from Eddie Benet. He is the author of the Mashomas book and stuff like that. He was a Grand Chief of our Madewan Lodge, Three Fire Society, and he resided in Wisconsin, but he'd like to help other people out and stuff like that. But they would always talk about that this is the time of, the seventh generation, that the people are going to make a stand and start doing more for rights of Native Americans and stuff like that, and that it is going to be the time of the great divide between spirituality and technology. I don't want to talk further on that because it was old stuff when I was younger, so I could be butchering it, I guess, but that's what I grew up hearing, and I just wanted to throw that in. If you ever want to, if you're Native and you want to check that kind of stuff out, especially Ojibwe people, Madewan stuff, way of life is very awesome and very beautiful for anybody that's there. You know what I mean? So.
In learning the traditional teachings of our Dene, as I was growing up, I had a lot of opportunities to attend ceremonies and that. And during the ceremonies, when they're taking a break and taking food or some other reason that they've kind of put the paraphernalia for the conducting the ceremony over here to the side for a moment, and everybody's taking a break, they have that time where they have a lot of discussion on things that may be of interest to all of the families and the people, relatives that are there. And I've had the opportunity to listen to things that they were told when they were growing up. Many of these people are elderly, but when they were growing up, the old people said, there will come a time when this will happen. There will become a time when you will cut your hair, and there will be a time when you will begin to lose your language and the way that things are supposed to be done. That means you'll no longer have the Navajo knot or the Navajo bun. And also, that means you will be losing your language. And also that which means all of the things that are traditional teachings and that will be lost and will be ignored. And those are the things that our people are cautioned to be aware of in the future times. When teaching are given.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut him off, but it made a transition. So I also want to, like, in the Ojibwe, Chippewa, Medewan, they also speak about a time that will come that our people are going to be so sick. It could be drugs or anything like that, just by falling down that they could die. They talk about stuff like that, and that we will probably see those times, and that those times have came before, and then that they had, like, a lot of our teachings originate and centralize around like a young kid being taken by like the eagle, the great eagle, and taken to that place of where creation started, stuff like that, and learn the ways of our people, and that, years and years sent back. And it's a good story, but I'm not going to tell that because I'd never had the rights to tell that story. So, but it's great to hear, and I think that more recordings should be sent out for that kind of stuff. But that kind of idealism isn't very good in some Native American cultures and stuff like that. I thought I'd just throw that in there of some stuff that I heard growing up from Native American people that passed on these stories to us. So,
given among our Dene to any of the younger people by the elders, they always encourage us to listen. And they tell us that there's a word, that is a word that has so many different applications in different ways. That means that when you are a person that is willing to learn something from what is shared with you, that you take serious the opportunity to learn. The word is sometimes applied to the adult. Tahoyani is the way that it is said. Tahoyani means the one that is an adult and can supervise young people. And then the teaching, as it's first given, is usually to the person taking care of the livestock or the sheep. It means to care for the sheep. The word Ba'ahulia, which would mean you be the thinker for the livestock. Bahuneya would be the other way to say it, but they say it in most cases. Ba'ahulia, which means Bahuneya. And so the teaching of Hujiyango is to say that learn the things that you need to know so that you can make a life for yourself. And so when you're going to school and you are sitting in a setting where you're to learn something, the old people always used to encourage us, that means you will absorb the things that you need to know so you can become an adult. That takes time, that takes effort to learn. And learn as much as you can about all types of situations in life. And the preparation for this particular subject, we had the opportunity to speak with a lot of different elder people that have heard these lessons about Wajiyango, Tahoyani. And it is very important that they say that that is something that is given to everybody throughout their life. We've been trying to determine what would be a good translation. And we talked with the other people, and they always express the idea that the real danger to the Dene is probably not learning. And it is that it can affect.
Without learning, you'd never have progress. You just got people stuck in their ways. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut them off.
Their lives in a negative way. And so the teaching is that that means the learning and to becoming a person that can take care of themselves and gain knowledge is all up to you. Is what it comes down to. But when
only you can hold you back.
You're very young and they tell you, to take care of the sheep. That means you think for the animal. And so now you have to think for yourself. So the greatest danger that they say, "Nde na so te ne, ye ichi na hui nado." That means something like a prophecy that in the future our people are going to begin to lack the responsibility of knowing, of learning, and applying it in their lives properly. So
And a lot of people thought that was like the times of the firewater, the alcoholism that, and pills running rampant in communities, not just Native American communities, but almost like all communities. You see it, whether you're African American, Caucasian, Asian. You see that sickness everywhere. So
the greatest danger, they tell us, is something like ignorance. Ignorance is very dangerous to our Dene. And so there is so much to know, and there's so much to understand, and there's so much to be aware of. And ignorance is a choice, and it's a choice that is very dangerous. We have all of the opportunities to learn, and so there's no excuse for the things, for not knowing the things we need to know. But the other thing that they say is that of ignorance, and that of not knowing, or choosing not to know. And then, of course, when the time comes, you don't know how to deal with situations. So the teaching is, ignorance is dangerous, and it is that what means right before your eyes, these things happen. You have to be able to understand what's going on, and if you choose to be ignorant, you'll ignore those things, and it'll lead you in the wrong direction.
Lead you in the wrong direction and allow you to not take any action, because taking action has its consequences as well and stuff like that.
That means you must use your power of thinking and planning and then doing. In a way, we are told there's no excuse in not knowing the things that are important that make life. There is absolutely no excuse to avoid the idea of learning things you need to know to how to make your life. And of course, there is no excuse in not knowing what the holy people want you to do. There is absolutely no excuse to avoid and not do what the holy people have told us in the teachings that are preserved in the traditional ways of the Dene. And then you also have to be, on an individual level, you have to be aware. And don't be ignorant to the idea that there are people that are in the world that will lie to you. And they will sound so convincing that they will take and say, okay, I'm going to take their advice and follow them.
They a lot of times in like Ojibwe, the Midewiwin way, they talk about that opposite spirit, always trying to lead you away, trying to steer you away, as trying to bring you away from that beautiful way of life and stuff like that. I mean, it might not relate to this, but it kind of, to me, it brings like a similarity, like almost all cultures, Native or any other one that's believes that has an older way that was passed down from generation to generation, that it's almost like a similar story that it connects in a way, even though there's language barriers, even though it's in a different part of a world and stuff like that. And it all relates in a way, when you hear those stories, when they're translated, it's awesome. And I love hearing that stuff.
And it is very important to understand that we cannot be ignorant to those things. And there's no excuse for not knowing the dangers of envy, greed, hate, and killing. There is no excuse in not knowing the dangers of those types of behavior. And they
talk about like dangers of protecting your loved ones, your family. That war, it was frowned upon, and killing and all that stuff is frowned upon unless if it was wartime, when you had to protect the people that you love and care for, and that became an honorable thing.
Idea that there is no excuse for not knowing the past history of our people, the past history of your clan. Ask about it. Learn about it. There's no excuse. And then, of course, the very last thing, and I always remember the old people would say, is that that means that when you have become an adult and you have children and a family, You take care of them. You do not need to be ignorant about the responsibility of being a father or a mother, and being a good and doing your very best to be a good father, to be a good mother. Huchiliando. That means you do not let yourself become ignorant. And that's going to be the things that you have to be responsible for in your life. So you don't have excuses. You eliminate the excuses, and you know how to deal with the things you have to do.
You create responsibility for yourselves, and you take responsibility for those actions.
In making your life. Inachaleco is the way that they used to tell us. And that is the way that they used to tell us. And those are the things that we are told.
Oh.
Teachings.com. Uploads, subscribe and hit
Listen
that
to us.
notification bell so you never miss one of our uploads. Also, head over to our website, NavajoTraditionalTeachings.com.
All right, that concludes this video. Oh man, I love hearing teachings from like elderly people, whatever. Like this guy, he refers to them as older people now that he's become an elder person. You know, it ain't gonna like discredit if he was younger or anything like that. But now that he's an elder person, you know, it brings down. It's weird, you know, it's like the circle of life they always talk about. Before you know it, you're an elder yourself, you know, and it's awesome that he held on to those stories to pass on for generations of not only just his own people, but for everybody here on the YouTubes, you know. It doesn't matter about religion in my point of view, or race, you know what I mean? I think any teachings can be learned from anybody in the world, you know. And I think it would help us carry it on, regardless of being a part of that way of life or not, and stuff like that. So, well, I hope you guys had a great time. I'll put their description and link down below, or their link down in the description below. My bad. But if you're new here, please hit that like and subscribe button, especially if you like this content. If not, I hope you have a great one anyways, and have a good day, you know, a good week and stuff like that. And if you're returning, hey, thanks guys for coming back and viewing the channel again. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys have a great one. Peace.